Thank you all for being here for Friday morning Dharma. Let's go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture. Please take care to ensure that your spine is straight and relaxed. We're facing straight ahead with our head tilted slightly forward. This serves to bring our spine perfectly into alignment. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and softly close your eyes. And using whichever method you find most effective, please allow both your physical body and your mind to start to settle and to rest, to become quiet and still. And when, when you're ready, in your own time, please go ahead and gently transition into meditation on the inner body. Become the silent observer, like a mountain with consciousness. Become the silent observer of sensations that may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just be the silent observer of these sensations and allow a more awakened state of awareness to emerge. When you encounter a situation that you find unfavorable, you have two choices. You can resist or you can accept. Resisting what is will perpetuate your suffering. Accepting what is will liberate you from your suffering. It is important to recognize that patience is not gritting your teeth and putting up with something. Patience is a mind that wholeheartedly accepts whatever arises, having abandoned the notion that things should be other than what they are. Please know this truth about patient acceptance. If you perfect your practice of patient acceptance, you will never suffer again in this lifetime. So, for the next few moments, I'd like you to please just rest in acceptance. Become familiar with acceptance. Experience acceptance by becoming acceptance. To support you in this meditation, you may find it beneficial to conjoin your resting in acceptance with meditation on the inner body. Doing so will enable you to have a deeper, direct, non-conceptual experience of acceptance. Acceptance is a sanctuary. Acceptance is your refuge from samsara. Please know that a quick path to perfecting your practice of patient acceptance is surrendering. Surrender to the fact that you cannot control the world around you. You cannot control external situations. You cannot control other people's behavior. You cannot control how other people think. The only thing in the entire universe you have the potential to be able to control is your own mind. But that's all you need to be able to control in order to be able to take refuge from the sufferings of aversion and instead take refuge in the sanctuary of patient acceptance. So, for the last few moments of our meditation, I'd like you to please gently redirect your awareness, gently change your object of meditation, and rest in surrender. Here again, please feel free to conjoin your resting in surrender with meditation on the inner body, thus keeping you connected to a state of non-conceptual awareness, thus keeping you connected to direct experience. Now, very gently, please once again redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less, less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Become aware, become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of nearby mountains, of nearby countries, of nearby continents, of nearby planets. And you can know, of course, that you are not these phenomena, nor are you separate from these phenomena. We dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May we as individuals, as so-called individuals, make the greatest contribution we can to world peace by refining, deepening, and ultimately perfecting our practice of patient acceptance. May we come to resolve our differences with others using minds of acceptance, empathy, compassion, and wisdom. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you. So, welcome back, everyone. Um, thought I would, we're coming to kind of the end for now of our discussion of the delusion, the root delusion of anger, and the opponent to anger, which is patient acceptance. And I thought that it might be helpful for us to, for me to share with you a story, like a real life story, take kind of a break from kind of the doctrine of discussion, the discussion of the principles of patient acceptance. Of course, the opponent to aversion, and kind of maybe illustrate some of the things that we've been talking about with a real life story. And this story involves a close Sangha friend of mine um, who has been diagnosed with a form of dementia called Lewy body syndrome. Lewy body syndrome. She is she's retired. She's a retired rocket scientist, for crying out loud. I mean, you hear these stories, like I don't know if people do it anymore, but they kind of use this example, I'm no rocket scientist, but I know that, whatever. She's a real life rocket scientist, okay? Like a brilliant scientist. And she is a a Dharma practitioner. Been practicing Dharma for 40 years. Yeah. And she's married. She's married and she has a husband of 50 years who is not a Dharma practitioner. So let me just preface the rest of this story by telling you that this is not a better than or worse than comparison. That's not nothing to do with that. Um, and I think it's beneficial for us to examine the different perspectives that this husband and wife couple have on the sufferings of Lewy body syndrome. There are so many takeaways from this story. So many takeaways, starting with the irony of this brilliant scientist who is losing her cognitive abilities. Yeah, like built her whole professional life on, you know, basically brain power and scientific aptitude. And just incredibly ironic that the disease that, you know, presumably is going to take her life is a form of dementia, deterioration of the brain. Speaks so strongly to impermanence, and it speaks so strongly to the wisdom of not taking refuge, of not counting on things of the body to relieve us from suffering, right? It's hard for me to think of a more ironic scenario than this one. So my friend is this accepting her diagnosis very in a very beautiful, very patient way. She is at peace with the fact, mostly at peace, I should say, mostly at peace with the fact that, you know, she has this affliction. And if something else doesn't get her before, and that's a distinct possibility, you know, she could all sorts of other physical afflictions that could take her before the Lewy body syndrome does, speaks to the importance of not looking too far down the road, right? Not looking too far ahead. Oh, when I die from Lewy body syndrome, which the doctors say could be somewhere between 18 and 24 months, no, maybe not. You know, a heart attack could take this person, could take my friend before then. Yeah. So here again, an opportunity for us to contemplate the benefits of being present in the now. Anyways, my friend seems to be mostly at peace with the fact that she has this fatal condition and is just going on with her life, or otherwise would be going on with her life. Her husband not taking it so well. Um, for whatever reason, maybe it's because he doesn't have a spiritual path in which he can take refuge. Maybe he doesn't have a Dharma practice. Maybe he doesn't understand the laws of karma, aversion, acceptance, all the rest of it. Is really having a hard time with this, is actually devastated, I would say, by this development. Understandably so. They've been married for 50 years, for crying out loud. He's faced with the prospect of losing his life partner of 50 years. This is a basis of compassion for us, to have compassion for this man and others in his situation who are faced with the prospect of losing their beloved. So many different ways to reflect on this situation. Since we've been talking about patient acceptance and aversion, that's kind of what I'd like to use the remaining few minutes that we have on this. So the husband is absolutely adamant about doing whatever they can to try to find a cure for Lewy body syndrome. There is no cure for it. but they're investigating every single possible medical route that may be out there, new like clinical tests, that haven't been approved, but maybe the wife can become the subject of this clinical of these new clinical trials that are in their experimentation stage and flying all over the country, would fly all over the world to see if this can work, to see if this new, as of yet unproven remedy or remedies can stave off this illness and ultimate disintegration of the body. Yeah. The wife, not so interested in that. Yeah. Accepts, is accepting her karma. Kind of the only suffering that my friend appears to be experiencing as a result of this situation is the fact that her husband is suffering so much from this, right? So she's kind of going through the motions, going along with this investigation of a medical solution, a medical remedy to this affliction, basically to appease her husband. Very interesting, very amazing. I think that's a deepening. I think that's an even deeper example of acceptance. Not only is my friend accepting the fact that she has Lewy body syndrome, she's going to lose, if it runs its course, is going to lose all of her cognitive abilities and ultimately her life if it runs its course. Not only is she at acceptance with that, but she is at acceptance with her husband's inability to accept the fact that she has Lewy body syndrome. Totally amazing. Totally amazing. Yeah, so beautiful. Our takeaway from this, of course, is not to say, oh, she's got it right and he's got it wrong, or this is what this is a perspective, different perspective that she might adopt or he might adopt. No, it's I think the job for us is to examine our own lives and look at our own situation. How are you doing? How am I doing? How are we individually doing with the absolute certainty of the fact that this body will decay and ultimately cease, and we will die? This life will end. How are we doing with our own mortality? How are we doing with living in the present moment? How are we doing with compassion for our loved ones? How are we doing in our ability to accept? Here's a story of someone who is able to accept another person's inability to accept. How are we doing with our practice of patient acceptance? Yeah, can't say it enough times. One of my dad's favorite sayings, and it's a mantra for me. Look homeward, angel. Look homeward, angel. Not like, how are these other guys doing? This is what they should be doing differently. No, the Dharma is a mirror reflecting back to us. How am I doing? Where is there room for me to apply effort and maybe change my approach to life's situations? Okay, beautiful ones. That's it. 9 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and have a blessed day and a blessed weekend.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're most
It was
welcome.
beautiful. Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
You're
Bye.
most
That
welcome.
was great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay.